So in this lecture we are going to discuss about antihypertensive agents. Okay, so in last lecture we have seen some of the subclasses under this antihypertensive agent like angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor. Then also we have seen the drugs that decreases the neurotransmitter release, depleting the neurotransmitter release. Okay, so there are different subclasses under this antihypertensive agent. Okay, so in this lecture mainly we are going to discuss about two important subclasses that are used in the treatment of hypertension to decrease the blood pressure. Okay, so diazoxide and minoxidil. Okay, both drugs are used in the treatment of in the treatment of hypertension. Okay, so the mechanism of action is that drug act as an agonist at potassium channel. Okay, so we have seen there are different subclasses. The mechanism of action behind each class is different, but final target or final goal of the drug, each and every drug, is to decrease the blood pressure. Okay, but the mechanism of action behind both the drug is they act as an agonist on the potassium channel and it produces decreased in blood pressure. So we'll see what is the correlation between potassium channels and high blood pressure. Okay, or whenever we want to decrease the blood pressure, how potassium channel openers or potassium channel agonist produces a specific effect, that is decrease the blood pressure. Okay, so whenever we are going to give any drug that act as a potassium channel agonist or potassium channel openers, so once we administer the drug, okay, and after absorption the drug directly act on potassium channels. Okay, and after acting on the potassium channel it opens the potassium channel. Once there is an opening of potassium channels, they further opens KATP. Okay, that is potassium ATPase. After that they enhances the potassium efflux. Okay, so this is a mechanism of action by which they reduces the blood pressure. Okay, so once there is an opening of potassium channel, they enhances potassium efflux, then membrane hyperpolarization. Okay, so due to the presence of potassium, there is hyperpolarization is produced. Okay, after that they decreases the calcium entry inside the cell. So due to the decreased entry of the calcium inside the cell, there is a reduced intracellular calcium. Okay, so intracellular calcium concentration is decreases, and this is the main reason behind decrease in a blood pressure. Okay, that decreases the entry of calcium inside the cell wall, and due to the decrease in a entry of the calcium inside the cell wall, they produces smooth muscle relaxation. Okay, calcium is responsible for contraction. Okay, so whenever there is a if there is a more amount of calcium enter inside the cell, then it produces a contraction. Okay, we have seen what is the correlation between calcium and contraction. So due to the inhibition of the entry of calcium inside the cell, this drug produces smooth muscle relaxation, and due to the smooth muscle relaxation it decreases the blood pressure. Whatever there is a high blood pressure is there in that patient is decreases due to the decreased entry of calcium, and that decreased entry of calcium is done due to the uptake of or enhanced entry of the enhancement of the entry of the potassium inside the cell. Okay, so you can see potassium channel openers, whatever the drugs prescribed to the patient that directly binds to the potassium channel, it opens the potassium channel and then exit of potassium, then decreases of the duration of the cardiac action potential. After that cellular polarization increases and inhibition of the opening of voltage gated calcium channel. So just now we have seen the mechanism that decreases the calcium entry. What is the purpose behind decreasing the calcium entry? That we want to produce the decreased blood pressure. So for the decreasing the blood pressure, we want to decrease or we want to relax that cell. Once there is a relaxation, ultimately there is a decrease in the blood pressure. So for the relaxation, we have to decrease the entry of calcium inside the cell, and to decrease the entry of the calcium, it is very very important to enhance the entry of the potassium inside the cell. Okay, so due to the entry of the potassium inside the cell, more amount of potassium enter into the cell and ultimately decreases the entry of the calcium, and then relaxation of the smooth muscle, and due to the relaxation of the smooth muscle, they decreases the blood pressure. So once there is a vasodilation is produces, so vasodilation is responsible for the decrease in a blood pressure and final target is achieved. Okay, so whenever you are going to write mechanism of action for 2 marks or 3 marks, you have to explain each and every term. What is the correlation between potassium channel openers and blood pressure decrease? Okay, so mainly whenever there is a opening of the potassium channels, there is entry of potassium. Due to that, cellular polarization increases. So once there is an increase in a cellular polarization, there is an inhibition of the opening of voltage gated calcium channel. So due to the inhibition of the opening of the voltage gated calcium channel, it decreases the entry of the calcium. So due to that, it produces relaxation of the smooth muscle. Once there is a relaxation of smooth muscle, it produces vasodilation. So vasodilation is the main cause behind decrease in blood pressure. Okay, so one of the most important drug under this class is diazoxide. So diazoxide is a benzothiazide derivative with antihypertensive and hyperglycemic activities. Okay, so mainly it is used as an antihypertensive agent. So diazoxide increases membrane permeability to potassium ions in vascular smooth muscles, thereby stabilizing the membrane action potential and preventing vascular smooth muscles contraction, and this results in peripheral vasodilation. Okay, we have seen whenever there is a prevention in a vascular smooth muscle contraction, it produces the relaxation, and whenever there is a relaxation, it produces peripheral vasodilation and decrease in peripheral vascular resistance. So whatever resistance is there to the flow of the blood in the blood vessel is known as an blood pressure. Okay, so that blood pressure is decreases due to the vasodilation. Okay, so just now each and every drug under this class having the same mechanism of action, that they decreases the entry of calcium and ultimately decreases the blood pressure by relaxation of smooth muscles. So this agent also inhibits insulin release by interacting with ATP sensitive potassium channels of pancreatic islets of beta cells. Okay, so this is also one of the use or mechanism behind diazoxide drug. Okay, so this is a structure of diazoxide, that's 7-chloro 3-methyl 4H124 benzothiazide 1,1-dioxide. Okay, in structure you can see there are 2 oxygen groups are present on sulfur, that is dioxide. So due to the presence of 2 oxygen group, the drug name of the drug is diazoxide. Okay, means it contains 2 oxygen as well as it contains 2 nitrogen. Okay, so 7-chloro as it contains chlorine group at 7th position, then 3-methyl at methyl group is present at 3rd position, and 4H124, okay, at 1st position sulfur is present, at 2nd position nitrogen is present, 3rd position at substitution is present of methyl group, and at 4th position one more nitrogen is present. So there are bicyclic ring, so one ring is benzene and another one ring named as thiadiazine. Okay, so complete bicyclic ring is known as an benzothiadiazine. Okay, and on that first position there are 2 oxygen groups are present, that is 1,1-dioxide. Okay, so the structure is very simple. Okay, so the question will be there like, do the structure of antihypertensive drug that contains benzothiadiazine structure. Okay, so benzothiazide containing drug. Okay, bicyclic ring containing benzene ring as well as one more ring which contains sulfur and two nitrogen groups. So 1 2 4 benzothia, then two nitrogen, so diazine, presence of two oxygen at first position, that is 1 dioxide. Okay, and there is a substitution of electron withdrawing group chlorine at 7 position, so it is 7 chloro. Okay, so this is related to the complete chemistry of the drug. So if the question will ask like give the chemistry of the diazoxide, so in that chemistry, if you are going to write the chemistry of diazoxide, you have to explain each and every structural parameters like which group is present. So specifically electron withdrawing chlorine group is present at 7th position, then there is the presence of substitution of methyl group at 3rd position. Okay, then at first, second and fourth position sulfur and two nitrogen groups are present. That's why that bicyclic ring is known as an benzothiazide. So this is a chemistry of that drug. Okay, so due to the presence of electron withdrawing group, it enhances the affinity of the drug towards the receptor or channels, specifically potassium channels. Okay, and due to the structural modifications, it can easily open the potassium channels and ultimately responsible for relaxation of the smooth muscles and produces the vasodilation and decreases the blood pressure. Okay, so this is a very important point related to diazoxide. So diazoxide is a benzothiazide, that is SS dioxide of 2H124 benzothiazide, which is substituted at position 3 by a methyl group and at position 7 by chlorine. So a peripheral vasodilator, it increases the concentration of the glucose in the plasma and inhibits the secretion of insulin by the beta cells of the pancreas. Okay, so this is a chemistry of that drug. So just now whatever we have discussed, okay, the presence of specific group, okay, this is very important point. The next drug is minoxidil. So minoxidil is an orally administered vasodilator. Okay, so vasodilator drugs are mainly prescribed to decrease the blood pressure. So minoxidil is an orally administered vasodilator which is used to decrease the blood pressure mainly with hair growth stimulator. So one more action of the minoxidil is it is used as an hair growth stimulator and antihypertensive effect. So minoxidil is converted into its active metabolite minoxidil sulfate by sulfotransferase enzyme. So it is available in the form of prodrug. Okay, so once it is enter into the target cell, it converted into its active metabolite, and the active metabolite of the drug is important. Okay, so minoxidil is converted into its active metabolite, which is minoxidil sulfate. For this conversion, it requires one enzyme, that is sulfotransferase. So in presence of enzyme sulfotransferase, minoxidil, which is a prodrug, converted into its active form or active metabolite minoxidil sulfate. Okay, so in multiple choice question, maybe they ask which enzyme is required for the conversion of prodrug minoxidil into their active metabolite. Okay, so the important enzyme is sulfotransferase enzyme. So minoxidil sulfate exerts its antihypertensive effect by opening of plasma membrane adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP sensitive potassium channel. Okay, so whatever potassium channels are present, so the ATP sensitive potassium channel opening is carried out by the minoxidil sulfate. Okay, whatever minoxidil group is there, which is a prodrug, it is not present in the active form. Once it converts into its active metabolite, that is minoxidil sulfate, that minoxidil sulfate binds to the ATP sensitive potassium channels, then thereby directly and rapidly relaxing arterial smooth muscles and subsequently reduction of elevated systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Okay, suppose if patient is suffering from high blood pressure, so whatever elevated systolic and diastolic blood pressure is there, okay, so due to the administration of minoxidil, okay, it decreases subsequently, there is a decrease in the reduction of elevated systolic and diastolic blood pressure by decreasing peripheral vascular resistance. Okay, so whatever resistance is there to the flow, it decreases and they ultimately produces vasodilation and decrease blood pressure. So these agents also used as an hair growth stimulator. Okay, so this drug having hair growth stimulatory effect may be mediated through its vasodilatory activity. So due to the presence of vasodilatory activity, this minoxidil drug also having the activity as an hair growth stimulator, thereby increasing cutaneous blood flow. So whatever blood flow is there to the cutaneous blood flow, they increases the cutaneous blood flow or due to its direct stimulatory effect on hair follicle. Okay, so whatever hair follicles are there, they enhances, okay, direct stimulatory effect on hair follicle cells and forcing them from their resting phase into their active growth phase. Okay, so due to that minoxidil along with antihypertensive activity, it has hair growth stimulatory effect. So this is the structure of minoxidil. 3-hydroxy, 2-imino, 6-piperidine, 1-vial, pyrimidine, 4-amine. Okay, so 3-hydroxy, it contains presence of hydroxy group at third position. Okay, whatever ring is present, that ring is known as an 6-member ring with 2 nitrogen. Okay, so the ring is piperidine, 1-vial, pyrimidine, 4-amine. So 6-member ring with 1 nitrogen without any double bond or without any unsaturation is known as an piperidine. Okay, then 6-member ring with 2 nitrogen is named as an pyrimidine. Okay, so both pyrimidine and piperidine, both rings are present. So in the ring of pyrimidine, okay, at third position hydroxy group is present, then 2-imino, that is double bond NH. Okay, 3-hydroxy, 2-imino, 6 at 6th position piperidine, 1-vial, pyrimidine, 4-amine. Okay, so there is a presence of amine group at 4th position, so it is 4-amine. Minoxidil is pyrimidine N oxide, that is pyrimidine 2,4-diamine 3 oxide substituted by a piperidine 1-vial group at position 6. So it has a role as an vasodilator agent and the antihypertensive agent. Okay, so it is pyrimidine N oxide, a member of piperidines and an aminopyrimidine. Okay, so the important point related to minoxidil is it contains 2 rings, okay, 2 heterocyclic ring. One is 6-member ring with 1 nitrogen without any unsaturation, so that ring is known as an piperidine. Okay, if the double bonds are present, then that ring is known as an pyridine. Okay, the next one ring contains 2 nitrogen, which is a 6-member containing heterocyclic ring with 2 nitrogen. Okay, so it is a pyrimidine ring. To that pyrimidine ring, imino group is present. Okay, so due to the presence of double bond NH, it is known as an C double bond NH. It is imino group. Okay, so whenever you are going to write the chemistry, each and every group is important, like presence of imino group, then presence of heterocyclic ring. What is the name of that heterocyclic ring is important. Then minoxidil is a pyrimidine N oxide, that is pyrimidine 2,4-diamine 3 oxide substituted by a piperidine 1-vial group at position 6. It has a role as an vasodilator agent and an antihypertensive agent. Okay, so it is a pyrimidine N oxide, a member of piperidines and an aminopyrimidine. The next subclass under antihypertensive agent is vasodilators drugs acting on smooth muscles. Okay, so these drugs like hydralazine and sodium nitroprusside are also the drugs that act as an vasodilator. Okay, that directly act on smooth muscles. Okay, so just now minoxidil, we have seen minoxidil as well as we have seen diazoxide. Okay, so both the drugs act by the mechanism that they opens the potassium channel, and due to the opening of the potassium channel decreases the calcium entry into the cell, and ultimately the relaxation of the cell, production of vasodilation and decrease in the blood pressure. So next one is vasodilator. So drug that dilates the blood vessels by acting directly on the smooth muscle cells through non-atomic mechanisms. So compensatory responses, salt retentions and tachycardia. So there are four mechanisms by which there is the production of vasodilations: release of nitric oxide, opening of potassium channels. Just now we have seen that opening of potassium channel lead to the hyperpolarization, then a closing of the calcium channels. Okay, so due to the closing of the calcium channels there is a decrease in entry of calcium inside the cell and ultimately relaxation of the cell. Okay, then blockade of the calcium channel, this is also one of the mechanisms. Some drugs directly act on calcium channels, and due to the blocking the calcium channels they produces relaxation of the cell. Then some drugs activation of D1 dopamine receptor. Okay, so there are different mechanisms by which there is a production of vasodilation, and due to the vasodilation there is a decrease in a blood pressure. Okay, so one of the drug is hydralazine. Hydralazine is a commonly used oral antihypertensive agent that acts by inducing peripheral vasodilation. Okay, so it produces vasodilation, just now we have seen. Okay, so the mechanism behind production of vasodilation is hydralazine molecule combines with receptors in the endothelial and arterioles, then nitric oxide release. Okay, so release of nitric oxide is responsible for vasodilation, so relaxation of vascular smooth muscles and fall in blood pressure. Okay, so just now we have seen there are different mechanisms by which vasodilation is produced. Okay, so one first mechanism, that is release of nitric oxide. In vasodilators chapters we have seen different mechanisms by which we can produce the vasodilation. Okay, so first mechanism, that is release of nitric oxide. So release of nitric oxide is important mechanism, okay, behind hydralazine. So hydralazine releases the nitric oxide, and due to the release of nitric oxide there is a relaxation of vascular smooth muscles. Okay, so due to the relaxation of vascular smooth muscle there is a fall in blood pressure. Okay, so in this hydralazine mechanism of action we have to refer the mechanism of action behind release of nitric oxide, how there is a release of nitric oxide takes place. Okay, so that each and every explanation in the vasodilator chapters related to nitric oxide release you have to explain related to the hydralazine. So hydralazine is a thalazine derivative with antihypertensive effect. Hydralazine exerts its vasodilatory effect through modifications of the contractile state of the arterial vascular smooth muscles by altering intracellular calcium release and interfering with smooth muscle cell calcium influx. So this agent also causes inhibition of the phosphorylation of myosin protein or chelation of trace metals required for smooth muscle contraction, thereby resulting in an increase in heart rate, stroke, volume and cardiac output. Okay, so the question will be there in multiple choice question. Hydralazine is a dash dash derivative. So it is a thalazine derivative. Okay, hydralazine is a thalazine derivative having vasodilatory effect, okay, through modification of the contractile state of arterial vascular smooth muscles. Okay, so they alters the intracellular calcium release. So due to the altering intracellular calcium release, it produces relaxation and ultimately decreases the blood pressure. So this is the structure of thalazine. You must know about what is the structure of thalazine. If you know about the structure of thalazine, then you can easily write that hydrolysine is the thalazine derivative. Okay, so it is a bicyclic ring. In that bicyclic ring, both are 6-member ring. One is the benzene and another is a 6-member ring with 2 nitrogen and 4 carbon. Okay, so this is the structure of thalazine. So thalazine is an azarin, that is the 2,3-diaza analog. So what is diaza? Due to the presence of 2 nitrogen at second and third position, it is known as an 2,3-diaza analog of naphthalene. Okay, in naphthalene it is a bicyclic ring. Okay, so there are 2 benzene rings are joined together in naphthalene. So what is the difference between naphthalene and thalazine? Okay, so thalazine is 2,3-diaza analog of naphthalene. Just there is a presence of 2 nitrogen group instead of carbon. Okay, so it is a analog of naphthalene. Okay, having similar structure to that of the naphthalene, but just there is a change or difference at second and third position is instead of carbon there is a presence of nitrogen groups. Okay, so this is the structure of thalazine. And whatever hydrolysine drug is there, which is a vasodilators used in the hypertension treatment to decrease the blood pressure, is thalazine derivative. Okay, so that hydrolysine drug also having the similar structure to that of the thalazine, but whatever change is the presence of hydrazine. Okay, that is thalazine 1 at first position there is a substitution is present, that is 1YL hydrazine. Okay, so the presence of hydrazine, that is NH2. Okay, so in the thalazine structure there is a presence of substitutions of hydrazine at first position, and this complete structure is known as an hydrolysine, which is important drug under this class used as an antihypertensive agent. Okay, mechanism behind antihypertensive activity is it acts as a vasodilator. Okay, so hydrolysine is the one hydrazine derivative of thalazine, a direct acting vasodilator that is used as an antihypertensive agent, and it is role as an antihypertensive agent and a vasodilator agent, and it is a member of thalazines. So important point related to hydrolysine is it is an antihypertensive agent, vasodilator, and a member of thalazine. Then next drug under this class is sodium nitroprusside. So sodium nitroprusside is a nitro vasodilator that is used intravenously for the therapy of severe hypertension. Okay, so mechanism of action is release of nitric oxide as it contains nitro group. Okay, mainly it is used in the therapy of severe hypertension, hypertensive emergencies, and heart failure. Okay, whenever there is a heart failure or emergency treatment is required, sometimes at that time sodium nitroprusside is prescribed. Okay, so this is the structure of sodium nitroprusside. Okay, you can see it is a very complex structure. Ferric Fe group is present with 4 carbons and 2 with 5 carbon and 1 nitrogen. Okay, then CN, total 5 CN groups are present. It's attached to the ferrous, and nitric oxide, that is NO, and triple bond O is present, which is also present in which is present at ferrous. So sodium nitroprusside dihydrate is a hydrate, that is the hydrate form of sodium nitroprusside. So it is a role as a nitric oxide donor and a vasodilator agent. Okay, so related to the sodium nitroprusside, okay, it contains 2 sodium groups, that is disodium. Okay, sodium nitroprusside, and it contains, due to the presence of sodium, the name of the complete drug is sodium nitroprusside. Okay, in that 5 CN groups are present, cyanide groups are present, nitric oxide group, that is N triple bond oxygen, okay, are present in the structure. So main sodium nitroprusside is used in the therapy of severe hypertension. It's a very important point. Okay, mainly it is used in the hypertensive emergencies and used in the treatment of heart failure. Okay, so remaining part we'll see in next lecture. Thank you.